Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
If you do not like a long fucking video, you'll know by the timestamp when you clicked on this or saw it. It's a half hour of me rambling about the remake. If you have zero interest in Rocky Horror, if you don't give a flying fuck about Rocky Horror, this is your last chance to hit the fucking back button. Because we're about to strap the fuck in, set the tires, light the fires, and talk about Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again. So from the intro to this video of the middle room of my house, let it be known, I kinda like Rocky Horror. I mean, Frankenfooter is my jam. That right there was a Christmas gift from my wife a few years ago. I'm usually Dr. Frankenfooter. She is usually Magenta. So much so that recently at the last convention, which was RKOCon 2016, we both got casted for the All-Star Shadow cast. And really quick, if you don't know how that works, because some of my viewers may not know what this crazy thing that Rocky Horror is, every year there's a national convention for Rocky Horror. And they do an all-star shadow cast where we, perform the movie like normal, but there will be 5 or 6 people playing Frank, or 5 or 6 people playing Magenta and Riff, and we basically get a few scenes in the movie, and that's it. We go on to the next person. And to be on this shadowcast for the conventions is a pretty big fucking deal. It is legitimately the highlight of my 20-year Rocky Horror career, if you want to call it that. The remake, reimagining came out yesterday. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again. And I saw it with my cast that I'm part of in Charlotte, North Carolina, that type. As a matter of fact, I'll be playing Frank tonight, which in of itself is an honor because I'm being Frank the first night after this drops. I'm gonna say this before any other opinion. This was not meant or made for people like me. People that have been doing it for 20 years. That have gone to over 1,000 shows, performed a whole shitload of times in a shitload of locations, who know the movie hopefully backwards and forwards. I kinda don't sometimes, I know, bad me. But have seen it all, done it all, been it all. This is for the YouTube generation. Spastic attention spans, which I have too nowadays. Obviously, I'm a YouTube creator. If the way you consume media has been YouTube, then this is meant for you. Bright colors, fast-paced, very little downtimes, a lot of action going on, whether it be camera movements, whether it just be quicker dialogue. This was faster paced than the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But it has more attuned to the Rocky Horror Show. The Rocky Horror Show is the musical that the movie was based off of. So it has a little bit more to do with that, which I don't mind because it's a fuck of a lot better than Glee was. Although, still not the best tribute to Rocky Horror that has been done in modern TV, cable TV, cable-free TV. That, in my opinion, is from a TV show called The Cold Case Files, more specifically the episode named Creatures of the Night, starring one Barry Bostwick, playing a serial killer. It's a fucked up episode, but totally worth it to watch. Also, they kind of nail that early aesthetic of Rocky Horror to a T. No pun intended, pun intended. What did I feel about this show in general? Where do I begin? It's very PG. Until the end. The end, the pool scene was one of the more hotter scenes I've seen. And I know I heard and have read that it was kind of nerfified and kind of PG-ified, which is obvious because it's on free cable TV. I wasn't expecting any of the bedroom scenes to be like the bedroom scenes in the movie or in the live BBC broadcast, which was actually pretty badass if you didn't see it last year. The set pieces were fucking amazing. That lab, I want that lab. A bunch of the cast members had said that, and that lab is beautiful. And I like the aesthetic of it being in a theater, well, because there is a live audience that they did, which was a nice nod, that go into this movie theater while the usherette is singing. Science fiction double feature, which wasn't a bad version of it either. And you're going into this movie theater castle, like an old school, old-timey castle movie theater, which is the same castle that's being used for the events that transpire throughout the rest of the movie. That was a nice aesthetic. The costumes, some were great. Some were fucking awesome. Some I wish I could do for the shadow casts of the movie. And then there was others that were just simply dog shit. Ones that I felt were really dog shit were the takeover spacesuits that Riff and Magenta wore. I did not like those. But Magenta's maid costume was fucking awesome. Frank's corsets were awesome. Riff's main costume was pretty badass. Eddie's costume, that fucking rockabilly, punkabilly aesthetic, amazing. And I totally get it. In today's day and age, that's what Eddie would be. You know, the greaser motorcycler doesn't really exist in that context anymore. But fucking rockabilly does. I didn't mind the soundtrack that they used, the music that they used. But you could tell when key changes abruptly happen. And I am so tone deaf, even I pick up on it, and that's pretty bad. I mean, I was a drummer for 20 years for a fucking reason. Because boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. You know, that's all I need to know. I noticed key changes, and they're like a sharp needle drop, scratch, record type of abruptness, which isn't really good to have. The arrangements of most of the songs were great, as I said, but key changes were an issue. They did some little bits of CG, which were okay, in a creepy, campy type of way, and then they totally went Sharknado on us at the end with the castle lifting up destruction. Actually, no, the castle doesn't even go anywhere. The really piss-poor CGI. And there's piss-poor CGI, and then there's trying to be like piss-poor CGI, and when you try too hard on the piss-poor CGI, it looks way worse than piss-poor CGI, if you know what I mean. I'll say this, some of the people that I thought were gonna disappoint me, I fucking loved. The people that I thought were gonna do me proud, disappointed me like whoa. We're going to start off in no real particular order. Janet, played by Victoria Justice, wasn't bad. It's vanilla. And that's what Janet and Brad are meant to be. They're meant to be vanilla in the beginning of the movie. They're your normal, typical, kind of nerdy, kind of square, kind of normal kids, for lack of a better word, that just kind of walk a straight line and don't really deviate from that path. Very vanilla. Their favorite ice cream's vanilla. You know, that type of shit. I keep saying vanilla because that's what Brad and Janet are supposed to be. And Janet was vanilla. The problem is, and this is more of a scripting issue than anything else, Janet doesn't really have a coming out and her sexual awakeness. Which is, once again, because it's a PG free cable access TV. Brad, played by Ryan McCartan, and I probably said it wrong and I apologize. Brad, I love you. I fucking love you. You were a pleasant fucking surprise to me. And you once again played it very vanilla, very dorky, very awkward. And once again, that's what Brad is supposed to be. Is this what the kids do? Fucking heart you, dude. Fucking heart you. And you nailed it. You nailed every aesthetic. But here's the thing. Your sexual awakening was way more than Janet's was. Which I don't know if it's a sign of the times or they picked and chose what parts for sexualness because they only had so many to choose from. Because that pole scene, we'll get to that pole scene with you and Laverne Cox. Oh my god. That was crazy. And from what I heard, there was a crazier take that you two did. And I really wish that one could have made it on screen. Reeve Carney as Riff Raff. The first images I was shown of Riff Raff, I immediately said he's a fucking tryhard. I am so glad I was so wrong. Reeve Carney basically nails it out of the park, except for his costume at the end. That's not the actor's fault. That's the costuming department's fault. You, sir, fucking nailed it gorgeously. I know that's that's a weird way of saying it, but legitimately, you were gorgeous as Riff Raff from just the look and how you played him. Christina Milian as Magenta. Were you even in this fucking movie? Did you even try? Did you just throw a dart at like a world map each scene that you did and said, that's the accent I'm going for? Because you did 4 different fucking accents in this movie and none of them came across any good. You should have just stuck to your own voice, darling. Bad enough that you look like a fucking troll doll in this. It's not your fault. That's costuming department's fault. Your maid costume was fucking hot as hell. Told my wife I want to fuck her in it. This is Rocky Horror, kids. I've doing it for 20 years. It's not going to be safe. Stasner, I think that's your name. I think that's how it's pronounced. As Rocky. Rocky's a hard part to do in the musical because he actually has lines. But, you know, he barely has any in this. But he sings. And Sword of Damocles is one of those odd songs that is almost a downer because you were just created. You have half of Eddie's brain inside you. Spoilers! You're like a newborn, but fully grown. And that's hard to do, and I think you did it really well. There's 2 ways of playing Rocky. If you have the body, you can play it like Rocky in the movie, with a little goofiness involved. Or if you look like me and my body type, you have to play it goofy as shit. And sir, you played it goofy as shit. And I love you for it. Your Rocky was so cute and adorable, and I just wanted to take you home and squeeze you and hug you and squeeze you and hug you and just pat you on the head and say, everything's gonna be alright, everything's gonna be alright. Occasional lead singer of Queen, people who feel that he should have been Frankenfooter, Mr. Adam Lambert as Eddie. This was one of the parts that I thought, going into it, I was gonna fucking hate. With a passion. And you fucking nailed it. You slayed it. You kind of knocked it out of the park. I thought Meatloaf was kind of just playing you up, saying he was afraid that people were going to forget about his version of Eddie when they saw this, because I thought he knew how bad this was. He wasn't joking. Your take on Eddie was fucking awesome. And it's 3.5 minutes of charisma. One of the best songs in this movie, and afterwards I was like, I'm buying that on iTunes. Flat out, that was an amazing song. The costuming was perfect with the rockabilly feel. Ben Vereen as Dr. Scott. People were like, why the fuck is Ben Vereen Dr. Scott? This dude can sing, this dude can act, this dude can dance. Why put him in the wheelchair? Yeah, you have a song, you're sitting down a lot. It's really hard to, from the waist up, get your motions and get your point across. And you did a really good job on that, even though I really felt your jazzy scooter should have been like Exhibit's Pimp My Ride. You know, that's just a me thing. Ivy Laverne as the Trixie Usherette. The way the scene was filmed, I liked it. I adored it. I thought it was a good setup. And I thought it was a good song, admirably done. I mean, there's not much else to say about the usherette. It was a great nod to the usherettes of the Shadowcasts, as well as a great nod to the Castle Theater setup that you had going. Tim Curry as the narrator. Don't leave us, Tim. Please don't. Don't leave me. One of my friends, Eddie, said that on Facebook. Please don't. I don't want you to go. Seeing the man who was this be reduced because of his stroke to what was shown on screen was heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time for me. His portrayal of Frank was like, up until the end, Captain Invincible. And for me, that was how I led my life, you know, because of the injury to the leg that I've always had, and being told I'll be in a wheelchair when I was 30, I just kind of like needed to be Captain Invincible until it was taken out of me. And it was hard. And especially with my mother having a stroke about 5 years ago now, it was kind of hard to look at. It was kind of hard to see and hear. Not so much because of anything in particular, but it just kind of brought feels that I didn't want to feel during this movie. So it was great. Just please don't leave us. Anna Lee Ashford as Columbia. They couldn't imply it directly, but it is implied that that lollipop is laced with pretty much every drug on the that you could think of. Which is what Columbia is originally. She's a groupie. She's a drug-fueled, alcohol-fueled individual party chick. And that's why Frank was, you know, with her too. She was a party chick. Good job. The costuming, I don't know. It's a sign of the times, I guess. Had to modernize it, and that's okay. Probably be a lot less expensive to make than the Columbia costumes for this sumbitch. Because that is one expensive fucking costume to get. And now for what I'm probably gonna get the most shit for. Frankenfooter, Laverne Cox. I was hoping that you were gonna slay it, madam. I was so hoping. If you don't know, Frank's my jam. I made that perfectly clear. Between the tattoo and the costume. And it seemed as if every scene you took like 10 Xanax. Right before the scene. And that's not how Frank was supposed to be. I don't care what type of production you're doing. If you're doing a Shadowcast, if you're doing the musical, if you're doing this even, if you're doing the Glee version, a condensed version, Frank is the most charismatic individual in that motherfucking castle at any given time. Frank is the center of attention. If I say he during some parts, it's because I'm referencing the movie. I'm going to try to get my pronouns good, but flipping between the two, I might get confused because I've always associated Frankenfooter with this gentleman right over here. Frank is the life of the party. He is the center of attention. Frank is charisma personified. And if he is not the center of attention, he get mad. He get glad. He get angry. Madam, you weren't any of that. Unfortunately. Sweet Tea was a butchered number. Not your fault with the arrangement, but your fault with the way you sung it. Which was very flaccid. Very Frank needs to be at a volume of 11. You were kind of like a 5. Frank needs to be here. Madam, you were here. The cape reveal is the big moment. If you're Frank, of any gender, and you're doing the shadow cast, and you walk up on stage, and you're just like, and you flip that fucking cape off, that is one goddamn fucking huge moment for you and the audience. And the way it was scripted or arranged or choreographed, you don't even do that. Riff takes your cape off. I'm sorry, Sweet Tea is the showstopper of the entire movie next to Hot Patootie. And it just didn't happen. And I was like, all right, maybe you'll ramp it up during the movie. And the only time you really did ramp it up was Planet Schmanet, when you were kicking the shit out of Janet, which was probably the only time that you were actually Frank. I'm sorry, Laverne, it was just so blah, and Frank's not blah. I'm sorry. I wanted to love you as Frank. I really did. But I can't. That would be going against everything I've said about the character for the last 20 so years. But then pool scene happened, and you kind of lifted it back up a little bit. And that was a damn sexy kiss with you and Brad. I'm not going to lie. Some people are complaining already about them using she for Frank. If you want my honest opinion, it is the correct pronoun for the way this was staged. This isn't a remake. It's a reimagination. A reimagining, if you will. People need to know the definitions of remakes and reimaginings, and this was a reimagining. I know Bailey is probably going to want to choke me out because I said that. I'm sorry, but it's just how I feel. The way the script was, Frank is a woman in this, so fine. Even Laverne said she did not want to change the lyrics to Sweet Transvestite because that would be going against what they were honoring, which was this movie. And for, I'd say, 40% of it, 45, to me, it was honored. It's probably a higher number, closer to 60%. But some things were fundamentally just brrr, but that's just some random asshole's opinion about it. If you've never experienced any of this before, you'll like it. If I were to take the 1,000 or so shows that I've seen and performed in, and the 20 years of Rocky out of my life, and sat down and watched this, I would have some fucking fun. Even if I only seen this, even if I'd only seen the movie in a theater maybe 100 or so times, I would have fun. But what I said in the beginning of this long-ass motherfucking thing was, this was not meant for people like me. And I'm okay with that. Overall, will you enjoy it? It depends if you've seen it a bunch of times, or if, you're an old head like me. You might like certain aspects of it. You might despise certain aspects of it. But despise the correct things. Don't get pissed off that a different race or a different sexual gender is playing a certain character. Those are the wrong fucking reasons to despise certain things. And that's just you being an asshole, if that's your opinion of it. And that's my opinion of saying, oh, Christina Milian shouldn't have been playing Magenta. No, she just shouldn't have been playing Magenta because she sucked at it. Especially Laverne Cox, oh, she should be playing. No, she should be playing Frank. There's a lot more female Franks out there than men nowadays in the shadow casts. I think I should know. And I'm Dahmer's Cool Stuff. And if you stuck around the entire half hour, thank you very much. I did not intend for it to be this long, but that's just how it happens sometimes. I'm Dahmer's Cool Stuff, and as always, don't dream it, fucking be it.